Domain names are one of the most important elements of any website. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview about what are domain names, how they work, what's the difference between a domain name and web hosting, what are the different types of domain names, and most importantly, how to choose the right domain for your business, because this makes a big difference in your website ranking and branding and your marketing efforts in the long run. And then I'm going to show you your different options where you can buy these domains, how much they cost, and even how to buy them. Plus, I'm going to answer the most frequent asked questions about a domain. So to start with, what is a domain? A domain name is the text that you type in your internet browser that will allow the user to reach a particular website. For example, this is our website, Websites Makeover. So in order for the visitor to reach our website, they're going to have to go to the internet browser and type in the name or the address of my website. This part right here is a domain name. So the domain starts with W and ends usually with, start with the letter. It can be anything, obviously, but it's the letter after the two slashes. And then usually it ends with a .com most of the time. But sometimes there's domains that end with .info. If it's a government website, it ends with .gov. If it's an organization, it ends with .org. So that's simply what a domain is. If you go to, for example, google.com, if you want to reach google.com, you type in their domain in the web browser address. So this is their website and this is their domain. Facebook is the same concept, so it's as simple as that. It's your website address. Now, there's three main elements in order to basically have a website that is available for visitors to go and visit online. One is the domain. The second thing is the web hosting, and the third thing obviously is the website. So the way you want to think about a domain, it's basically your address online. That's what a domain is, which is the what we discussed right now. This is my domain address. Web hosting is basically the land that gives you the base where you can create the database for the website. You can save the images, the videos, the content of the website. It has all the technical elements that you need to make the website available and accessible online. It allows you to build the website on top of it. It's also you can have branded emails and you can have other services through either from the hosting or through different services. Now the website itself is basically, this is what the website is. It's basically where you have your logo, where you have your call to action, where you have your message, the services, all the information that you have. That's what a website is, with all the pages that it has. Now this website has a domain and it's being hosted by a hosting provider. Now usually whenever you have a domain, there's something called DNS. DNS, it's a domain name system, which basically, whenever you purchase a domain from any domain registrar, like for example, the most popular one is GoDaddy.com, which I'll go over in a minute. Whenever you purchase it, now you need to let GoDaddy know where do you want to point this domain to. So there's something called DNS. So through these DNS, you can tell this, GoDaddy to point your domain to your new hosting, whether it's with GoDaddy or with any other company, because you can have your domain with GoDaddy and you have your hosting environment with HostGator, for example, or any other company. So the DNS basically it's the distributor that sends this domain to your web hosting. It points it to your email address. If let's say you have G Suite, Google Suite email, branded emails meaning that this is my website and my email, my branded email is Adam at Websites Makeover. So that's a branded email, as comparing to a Gmail free email or Yahoo email. So you can have a branded email, which you can have it with Google Suite, you can have it with your hosting provider. So the DNS basically will let the email provider that you do have control over this domain, and the proof that you're pointing it to the email. Same thing with the web hosting. The web hosting is your land. It's basically where you have all the resources to be able to create your website and connect your domain to it. Also, you can use the DNS and point the domain to other services. For example, if you're a restaurant and you are providing online ordering through a third-party company, this company usually tells you, okay, please create a subdomain, for example, order.restaurant.com, and point it to this DNS record, and they'll give it to you. And all you have to do, you go to the register, pass the DNS record, and it goes here. Now, once you have the domain pointing to the hosting, now you're ready to create and publish the website. And the website is basically your home, where everything happens. So I know it can be complicated, but you really don't need to think too much of it. It's as simple as this: the domain is my address, hosting is my land, and the website is my home. Now let's go to the next thing. So what are the different domain types? There's three main types of any domain. The first one is they call it TLD, which is a top level domain. It's something like .com, .net, and .org, and this is the most popular type of domain. So most likely, if you're a small business owner or you're just starting a website, this is the type of domain that you will be buying. It's either it's going to be it's going to end with a .com, .net, or .org. The second part, or the second type of a domain, it's called ccTLD, which is a country code top level domain. And this is basically, whenever you look at the domain, you will know that this domain is located, or this website is located in this country. So for example, the UK domains usually have the .uk at the end of it, and I'm sure you used it or you've seen it in the past. So if you're in the UK, your Google domain, it's gonna look something like this. It's gonna be Google well, actually this didn't work. Let me see something. UK Google. Okay, so domain, Google, the way they have it is they have their domain in the UK as google.co.uk. So you get the point. Whenever you see UK, you know that these domains are located, or these websites or companies, they're located in the United Kingdom, DE for Germany, IN for India, and so forth. The STLD is the sponsored top domains. This is more like the domain is when you have a community or you have an organization like a government organization or education. These domains end with edu or .gov. So if you're a college or university, whenever you want to buy a domain, you probably want an extension that ends with edu instead of .com, because this will represent your college or university better. So right away from the domain, you'll be able to tell, okay, this is an education institute. And same thing for government. So before I go over the domain frequently asked questions, I want to show you where you can buy a domain. So the most popular, there's tons of websites on how to buy a domain, or where you can buy a domain, but you want to always pick a provider that's known and it's competent and it's been there for a long time. So the most popular one is GoDaddy. And whenever you go to their domain, which is godaddy.com, you can land on their website on homepage. And the first thing you'll see here is it tells you type in your domain, the domain that you want. So let's say if I'm looking for to buy websites makeover.com. Okay, so you just type in whatever domain you want and you click search. Because one thing you want to keep in mind is that not every domain that you're thinking that you want to buy is going to be available. Actually, most of the good domains, they're already taken. Either people purchase them to build website on them, or they purchase them to resell them, or they're holding them for future business, whatever that is. So the reason why I typed in my website, so I can show you that this domain is taken. By who? By us, obviously, because we have a website there. Now I'm going to go over a few things so I can get you familiar with how everything works. So here it's telling you that this domain that you typed in here, it's already taken. But if you want, you can hire a broker for $70, add it to cart, and this broker will try to contact the owner of Websites Makeover and offer them whatever amount you want. Excuse me. And this usually doesn't happen unless you're a big company, like for example Google or Facebook, and you really want this domain. And most likely they have their own other way of doing it. So that's what this means. Here, it's GoDaddy is they're gonna give you options. They're gonna tell you, okay, there's no .com, websitesmakeover.com available, but we do have websitesmakeover.net, .org, and .info. And if you buy all three of them, we're gonna give them to you for $21 per year, or the first year. After that, it becomes $71. And here, it's gonna give you more options. And you can see there are different extensions. So don't get fooled. This is not a .com. This is .co. So this is what you need, really. .com. You want to focus on .com. And the reason why you want to focus on .com, people are more familiar with it. And Google will give it more credit in terms of website ranking. So you can see, if you're a shop, okay, it makes sense that you can buy a shop, but I still recommend going by .com if it's available. And it tells you how much it is. And this pricing right here is per year. So whenever you buy a domain from any website, you're paying annually for it. Now, all of them will give you the option to buy it for 1 year, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. It's up to you. So this domain is not available. So let's see if I can find another domain. But let's say your company is in fact Websites Makeover and you can't find the domain. For example, I tried to buy websitemakeover.com and I couldn't find that one. Makeover.com, and I couldn't find that one. It was already bought by somebody. So what I did in my case, I simply added the S to it, and I was able to find it at the time. So that's also something you can keep in mind. So if your company name is Great Pizza, okay, .com, but actually this is a good example. The reason why is sometimes whenever you put in a domain name here, it shows you that it has like a huge amount of money compared, because the average domain is about $12 per year. So when you see a domain for $2,000, they call this a premium domain. The reason why it's a premium domain, because it's short usually, and it has like two popular words, or two brandable words, or one brandable name. Like for example, if I put in pizza.com or great.com, obviously it's going to be taken. But if you find it available for sale, it's going to be for a lot of money. Yeah, pizza.com is not available. Even GoDaddy stopped working. They don't like pizza. Okay, so and here you can make an offer if that's what you want. But let's say you don't want to go that route. But you do have, your business name is a Great Pizza, okay, in your area. But obviously, when you're a pizza store, that's mean your service area is a certain radius around your area. So what you can do, if let's say you're in the city of Los Angeles, maybe you want to add something like LA, okay, and see if that's available. Okay, exact match. So here it shows that Great Pizza LA, which is, you know, Los Angeles, it's available, and they actually have an offer on it. If you buy for 2 years, then you'll get it the first year for $1, and then after that I think it's $19. So let's say you found what you're looking for. So the key point here is that even if your company name it doesn't have LA in it, you can have a domain that is different than your company name, and there's nothing illegal about it as long as it's not a copyrighted or trademarked domain. So if your company name is Yellow Jewelry, but you couldn't find yellowjewelry.com, you can have greatyellowjewelry.com or Yellow Jewelry in Spain.com. So the domain doesn't have to be an exact match of your company name or your website name, just because Google also recognized that most of these domains are already taken, so they're not going to penalize you based on that anyways. So let's say you found the domain that you're looking for. All you have to do, just click on get it. It's going to take you to the cart, and it's going to tell you for how many years you want to buy it. Here they're giving you an offer for $20. You can buy it for 2 years. Now, if you're planning to keep this business for at least 5 years, buy it for 5 years. The reason why, I've seen so many clients in my years of business that they buy a domain for 1 year, they spend the money on the hosting and the website, and they have it built, and they simply forget to activate the auto renewal every year, or they have the auto renewal, but by the time the new renewal comes in a year from now, their credit card have changed or expired, and they miss the emails from GoDaddy stating that your renewal is up. And what happens is, this domain, when you buy it for, let's say, 1 year and it gets expired, GoDaddy, they will keep sending you emails, hey, renew it. But if you don't respond, they give you a grace period. I don't know exactly how long, but it's not going to be too long. But after a while, if you don't renew it, it's going to get expired and it's going to be available for sale again. That means somebody else, and your website will be down. That means somebody else can go and buy the domain. And the problem with that when you have a website, like greatpizzala.com, actually this is a good domain, and you build the website and it's already indexed with Google and shown in their search results, and you have it on business cards and your flyers, and your customers are already used to it. It's a huge loss to lose a domain. So if you're planning to keep the business for a while, go for the max that you can go, whatever you can afford. But that's one piece of advice, and you'll realize that the higher you go in years, the higher the discount that you will get. Typically, I get them for 5 years. Most of the customers, they get them for 2 years. So whatever you decide. Now, whenever you try to buy a domain with any company, they're always gonna try to upsell you on certain things. Something like full domain protection. Full domain protection, if you click on this, it basically tells you what it does. It prevents hackers from stealing your domains or making unauthorized changes, and it requires two-factor verification. Basically, whenever you buy a domain with any company, it's the same as creating any account with any website. Hackers can hack it into your account, and if you have a weak password, or if you respond to one of their phishing emails, they can get access to the domain. But when you purchase this service, then it's harder for them to do that, because GoDaddy will require you to do a two-factor verification for any changes that you'll be making to the domain, like moving it to another company than GoDaddy, or pointing it to another hosting. So it will give you more protection. But if you know what you're doing, you don't need this, because all you have to do is just make sure that you can set up your two-way verification yourself to make sure nobody can log into the account. and just keep monitor of it, and you'll be fine. So it's not required, but it's recommended if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so let's say if you want it, you can get it. If not, you just keep it. Looks good, keep going, or continue shopping. You can go and you can buy as many domains as you want. I mean, there's no limitation. Some people also, I've noticed in the past, is what they do is, let's say this is their company name and they found it's an exact match, greatpizzala.com. One thing that they do, that they buy also the .net, .org, and .info, because they're afraid that if they get big and their competition start noticing, they don't want somebody else to go and buy greatpizzala.net and go build a website on it. Now, although it's an exact match, but the extension is different and nobody can tell them anything. They can go and buy greatpizzala.net and build a website on it. As long as in the website they have no affiliation with the .com one, then nobody can tell them anything. But it does hurt your business, because he might do marketing on it, and it might confuse some customers, and some people make mistake and they type in .net instead of .com. So if it's an exact match and you're thinking long term, it's not a bad investment to spend another $20 for 2 years on these domains, just to protect yourself. Continue to cart. So I'm done. So you can add these if you want to. You can also search for other domains and add them. And then once you're done, you just go to the cart. Now here it's basically re-emphasize again on the protect your domain, and they have different options. My personal view, I don't need no more to add more expenses to my domain. I can handle making sure that I have a strong website, a strong password, making sure that I don't give my username password to anybody. And talking about that, whenever you buy a domain from GoDaddy or any other company, and let's say your developer asks you for access to GoDaddy, you can give him the username and password for you, but after he finished development or after he finishes the job, make sure you change the password back. But even better than this, with GoDaddy, there's something called delegated access, which means is that you can log into your account and you can go to a delegated access within your GoDaddy and just give him access to do certain things, where he can point the domain, but he cannot transfer the domain. He can point the domain, change the DNS, but he cannot access the billing. And the good thing is about that you don't have to share with him your username and password. Plus you can disconnect it from your end anytime. So if he acts up or if he's no longer in business, you can simply remove the access without getting back to him. The third thing is, obviously you're buying a domain so you can build a website on it. That's most likely. So here GoDaddy offers you, hey, you can build a website for free, basic website included, using something called GoDaddy website builder. Now it's not really free, because they give it to you free at the beginning. After that they start charging you money. Now if you don't have a big budget, or a decent budget, or if you don't want to spend any money and you want to build your own website, you can use this platform. I don't recommend it personally, because you're never gonna build your website as good as a web developer will do it. And the website has a lot of elements that you can't even think about, because a website is not only something that looks good, but it's also servers and speed and security and SEO and ranking and email notifications. So there's so much into it. And honestly, based on my experience, over 50% of the clients that call us, they already tried to build their website themselves, and they realized after they invested the time and a little bit of money and the effort, they realized that they can't just make it work and they can't get it done. So now they wasted all this time, effort, and money, and eventually they found a web designer. So here it's up to you. If you want, maybe start with a landing page and save your money, then yes, it's a good idea. There's another option here, is if you want to create branded emails. Branded emails is meaning, like, for example, you or your name or info or customer service at yourdomain.com. So you can purchase any of these. And they charge you, basically, it's each one of these, they charge you per user per month. So if you have 2 emails, then the price here is going to be $4 per month instead of $2 per month. And you can get a way cheaper deal, which I'll show you with HostGator, because HostGator, they will give you the emails for free if you sign up for hosting, and even the domain for free. So let's say you say no thanks, and you just continue to cart. Now this is the final stage, and they still try to upsell you, which that's part of their business. I don't blame them. And here you just click on I'm ready. If you're good, then you just want to buy it for 2 years. And the next step would be simply, either if you have an account with them, don't create a new one and have so many accounts, because under one GoDaddy account you can have multiple domains. So just click sign in. If you don't, simply click continue with any of these options and just create your email and username, create an account. The next step would be to enter your credit card information, and you're done. They're going to send you confirmation. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing with HostGator.com. Now HostGator, I have an affiliate program with them. So if you decided to go with them, which they're cheaper and they're as popular as GoDaddy, but I like them because their platform is easier to manage, and they offer a lot more for less. So if you do decide to go with them, I would really appreciate it if you can click on my link in the description, so I can get the benefits out of it if you do sign up. Now here, you can, same concept, you can click on domains and type in the same domain or any domain you want. So let's see, since we did Great Pizza, pizzala.com. Whatever you find there, you're gonna find it here. And because we haven't really completed the purchase yet with GoDaddy, that's a good example also, it's still available. So I can still buy it from here, because whether it's GoDaddy or HostGator, these guys are just registrars. They basically they give you the ability to gain access to or to rent this domain. So anyway, so the same domain is available. It's $12.95 per year. You can add whatever you want to it. If you do 3 years, it's $48 and continue to check out. But let's say if you know that you're gonna build a website on this domain, so you know that you need web hosting, because remember, in order to have a published website, you need the domain, and then you need web hosting, and then you need the website built on the web hosting that points to the domain. So you know that you need web hosting, so you might as well get web hosting. And I'm gonna go over hosting in a different video, but most likely you're gonna go with a shared hosting. They have different options here, but let's say you want to buy the cheapest one, which is if you pay for 3 years, it comes down to $275 a month, which the total would be $151. But if 151, this $105 actually. So for $105, they'll give you a free domain for 1 year. So the pizza, the greatpizzala.com, you can simply add it here, and fill out your information and buy the hosting and domain for the domain free for the first year, and then I think it's $20 per year after that. But you get the hosting for $105 for 3 years, and you can play with this one. If you already have a domain, that's if you want to buy hosting, but we're not talking about hosting. So that's pretty much as far as how you buy domains. Now let's go to the frequently asked questions on domains, and this pretty much covers any questions you might have. Any other questions above this, you're just going too deep into it, and you really don't need to. So, can I cancel my registration of a domain? Yes. Whenever you purchase a domain, you're basically renting that domain for the period that you purchased it for. So, if you got it for 1 year, after you're already paying for the full year upfront. So, let's say you bought it for a year for $12, and you want to cancel 6 months from now. Yes, you can cancel, but you're still gonna own the domain until it expires. So after the year, yes, it will expire if you don't have the auto renewal. So make sure if you want to cancel, simply cancel the auto renewal, and it's not gonna renew again. But they're not gonna refund you the money. Can I move my website to a different domain name? Yes. So let's say if you have a website, this website I have it at Websites Makeover, and by luck I was able to buy websitedesign.com. Okay, that's a great domain. And I want to move this website from Websites Makeover to websitedesign.com. Yes, I can do that. Can I sell a domain? Yes, and it's actually a business that people use that business as a way of living and to make money. So what they do is they buy domains for a certain price or at wholesale price, and they resell them for higher price. So yes, there's a whole business based on buying and selling domains. What is a domain privacy? A domain privacy, let me show you this. There's something called whoisdomain. So if you type it on Google and you go, there's a lot of websites that does it, but I like GoDaddy's. For example, if you want to know, let me go with GoDaddy.com, okay, or Facebook.com. So if I want to know if I want to know who owns this domain, I can go to whoisdomain lookup, which you can Google online like we did, and put the domain here and search. Now, if the person who bought Facebook.com have something called privacy domain, then his personal information is not going to show here, which, as you can see here, there's no personal information. But if he didn't have the privacy, then it's going to show, John Smith, and his email is this, and his address is this, and his phone number. And whenever you buy a domain, you can add the privacy, the domain privacy to it, so people or companies cannot go and check your name. Basically, they cannot see who bought it. They can see that it was bought under this register, and it tells you when it was the last time it was updated, and when it was bought, and all the other information. But because they have domain privacy, it doesn't show you personal information. Can I buy more than one domain? Yes, you can buy as many as you want. In the past, when Google first started ranking websites and introducing the SEO, which is search engine optimization, it was a good marketing method. I mean, it wasn't best practice, but it was good to buy. For example, if you're a pizza in your area and you're covering multiple cities, that you buy multiple domains in each one of these cities, like Great Pizza Anaheim, Great Pizza Orange County.com, Great Pizza Anaheim.com, and build a website on each one of them. And this used to get you traffic, but it doesn't work as well anymore because Google recognizes duplicate content. But if you do build these domains and make sure that each one of them have its own unique content, videos, and images, then yes, it's helpful. So you can buy as many domains as you want, but keep in mind, a domain by itself has no value in terms of ranking or website. So that's also good thing to mention is some people buy, website design, for example, California.com, and they pointed, let's say I pointed to Websites Makeover. That's not going to do me any benefits unless somebody goes to the browser and type in website design California.com. But how many people gonna do that? Nobody. Usually people will either know the company name and type it, or they're gonna search for it. And if the domain have no website, it's gonna have zero present on Google, because it doesn't have website. So Google do not rank domains; they rank websites. Now, actually, let me check something. Advice. Okay. I was gonna say I had more information here. I apologize, but I'll go back to it. So let me, because I put together also, beside the domain types, I put a list of advices. Actually, yeah, it's the next slide. Sorry about the confusion. Okay, so how do I renew my domain? Usually, whenever you buy a domain, it's gonna be set in auto renewal. So every year or every 2 years, whenever it gets expired, it's gonna auto renew. But it's gonna show on the account. So make sure you have an auto renewal there. And also put a reminder in your calendar. I mean, nowadays with technology, it's easy to tell Siri, "Hey Siri, put a reminder a year from now for me to renew my domain." This way, even if you have auto renew and your domain gets expired, or your credit card gets expired, at least you have a reminder. Now, if you don't renew your domain, it's gonna get expired, and it will become available for everybody. Your website will be down, your emails will be down if it's connected to the domain. Any other application connected to the domain will be down. So down meaning it's not going to be accessible anymore, and anybody else can go and buy it. Now, let's say if your domain got expired, but you were able to purchase it back again, then you have to go and reconnect everything. Now, the website, you're not going to lose the website, because the website is built on the land. The land is the hosting. So if your hosting account it's not expired, then you're fine. You can simply just reconnect the dots, and it takes you 10 minutes to do that if you know what you're doing, and everything will be back on track. My credit card is invalid. How do I update? You just log into your account like any other account that you signed up for online. You go to my account and you find your billing information. You just add it there. How long can I register a domain? You can do it for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. It's up to you. The longer the better in terms of SEO, because Google, when they look at a website that it's registered the domain for 10 years, this will give them a piece of the puzzle which tells them that, okay, this website is planning to be there for a long time. But when you buy a domain for 1 year and build the website on it, it gives them also another piece of information about, okay, he's buying it for a year. That doesn't mean that he's gonna be out of business for a year, but this is one thing you want to keep in mind, that SEO or online marketing, it's a combination of things, and each little thing matters. So each little thing is an indication for Google. And I created another video, which is how to build a successful website. If you go to my channel, you can see it. It talks about that. It talks about how to optimize your website. A premium domain is something, it's the simplest way to think about it. It's a great domain. Whenever you see it, oh, wow, that's a nice domain. Like, for example, red.com. That's a premium domain. If you find red.com, and somebody want to sell, it's probably worth millions of dollars. What is a subdomain? A subdomain is basically like it sounds. It's part of your domain, but it's something like order. Let's say if I'm a pizza place, and I have order button now. The company that or the application where I have my orders, I can have it on a subdomain. The good thing about subdomains is basically it's easy to create, and you can create unlimited amount of subdomains for free because you already own the domains. They're all going to be part of your domain. That's a subdomain. It's always start with before the domain, and between the domain and the subdomain there's a dot, which here can be anything, hello, whatever it is. And you can connect this domain to a website. Yeah, it can be completely different than what you have here. But usually people use it, or companies use it for applications. For example, if they have a web application like, order a pizza online or credit application, whatever it is, they create something like this because they don't want to buy a new domain. And this application is specifically made for this business. So they create a subdomain. What's a URL versus a domain? So that's a good question from me. So let me show you something. This is a domain. Websitesmakeover.com is a domain. Now, portfolio, when I go to one of the pages, that's all of this is a URL. So basically, the domain is a part of the URL. So any page that you go to or you visit on a website, that's the complete thing. Or even like if you go like this, the complete thing right here is a URL. So if somebody tells you what is URL, your URL is HTTPS and the rest of this, and then websites makeover. And some people type in www. This is still valid, but browser are right now, they recognize whether you type in www or you don't, they're still gonna take you to the same place. I still get that. Some of my, my clients, when I ask them, okay, what's your domain? They tell me www. You really don't need to mention wwws anymore because it still exists, but it makes no difference. If you type in the domain with www or not, it's going to take you to the same place. So you might as well save the breath. Now, let's go to the next thing. Advice. So whenever you want to buy a domain, okay, so you're ready. Okay, you already know, obviously, the name of your business. You already know what website, what's the vision basically for the company. Whenever you type in a domain, here's the key feature: keep it short and simple, because keep in mind this domain is going to be used by your customers or by the people that want to learn about your business. So you want something that's easy to remember, something that you can put on a business card, and it's a brandable email and domain. And it's something that people cannot be confused with. Another thing, use keywords, brand or website name. So, like I mentioned before, is the website name or the company name doesn't have to be the same as the domain. It's better for it to be the same, but you can use keywords. For example, you can get, Great Pizza, LA, and your company name is pizza. You know what I mean? So you can use keywords, but the key is don't overuse it. Don't put Great Pizza, two topping .com. You know what I mean? This is too long, and it's even think about it. Whenever you want to use the domain on flyers or business card, you have to make it so small so it will fit, and it's not even readable. So make it, you can use keywords, you can use brand name, you can use website, which is good for SEO, but make it easy to pronounce and spell, and make it unique and brandable. So I know it's a lot of elements here, but domain names is, keep in mind, whenever you buy a domain name, you're stuck with it. That becomes your brand. This is your email address for years. So you might as well spend an hour or two just to do your own research and see how your competition chose their domains, where they rank in, and come up with a lot of available domains, maybe 10 to 20, share it with your teams, have a discussion, but keep in mind these main outline of what to do when you purchase a domain. Avoid hyphens in the domains for ranking purposes. Always go with .com first, just because that's what people are used to, and it's recognizable better for Google in terms of search engine optimization. Buy it for longer term. We discussed that. Register your domain under your own name. That's a big thing. I faced this with my clients in the past. I apologize for going on and on this video, but I'm talking out of experience. I faced this with several of my clients in the past. They come to me and they tell me, okay, I had this web designer overseas, 2 years ago. He built me a website, and I need to update my website, or I need to build a new one. So I tell them, no problem. The website, that's an easy thing. We can rebuild. We can always get new hosting account. But the main thing is the domain, the name. This is what matters. If this website disappears tomorrow, I can build another one. If the hosting provider, is down, I can go with another hosting provider. But I need to have access to the domain. That's the most important thing. Yes, it's going to cost me money, but at least it's doable. But this is the most important thing. So make sure, if you're hiring a developer or designer to build your website, regardless who it is, make sure that the domain itself is registered under your name and you have access to it. You own the username and password, and the account is under your name and it's your credit card. Now, you can buy the hosting under their name. You can they can have their hosting, they can have all the other access, but at least the domain is under your name. This way, if this freelancer disappears or this company no longer in business, you're still able to get back a new website with the same domain and the same email. Lock the domain so it cannot be stolen. This is basically part of the domain protection that all these companies offer. Activate auto renewal, so that's important. So that's pretty much about the domains. Now, if you do have specific question, you can use the comment section in this video, and I will answer every question that I get. Now we get to the quote of the day, or of the video, which is: design is intelligence made visible. Finally, my name is Adam Alzubi. I would really appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel, share my video, and like it if you liked it. And if you are a client who's looking for a website design, or if you have some questions, we do offer a free consultation. So you can visit us at websitesmakeover.com. And thank you very much for your time.